time to podcast.
Under our bed.
Here we are in the studio, under our bed again, talking,
Here we are,
sitting face to face,
looking into each other's eyes.
endlessly. What are we going to talk about today, Sal? It's a new day. It's a new discussion.
Yeah, how about travel?
Travel's a good one.
Let's do it.
That's something we've always prioritized in our lives. Always. Why is
Yeah.
that?
I think it's been important to you.
Yeah.
Why do you think? Why is
Has
it
it been
important
men?
to you?
Has it been me mostly, you think?
I think so.
Have you learned to like travel though, or no?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I love it. I do. I love it. It's not something I thought a lot about before we got married. I think you
Yeah.
thought about it a lot more than I had. Well, you'd had some experiences.
Yeah. Well, I had served a mission, right?
Mhm.
Before my mission, I think I'd only been on a plane like twice.
Yeah.
To New York once. We did one kind of trip back east with my family one summer. And then I think to California once for Disneyland.
Mhm. I hadn't been on a plane very many times either. That was not something.
Yeah, before you came to college.
Yeah.
How many, this is something that's changing, by the way.
Oh.
Like, I feel like our kids have been to like 20 countries, you
Yeah.
know?
Well, and just flying in general. I mean,
Yeah.
like it's, you fly to
Yeah.
places. You did not do that when we were growing up.
By the time you came to college, how many planes had you
Let's
been on, would you say?
Ooh, like maybe 4,
4, huh?
3.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly, but not very many.
Yeah, I think I took 2 flights before my mission is all.
Mm-hmm.
And man, yeah, you just think of our kids and how different that is for most kids or a lot of kids these days.
Yeah, a lot of kids, it's different.
Flight is happening a lot more.
Yeah. Well, it's it's just a lot more available.
Yeah, it's a lot more affordable and accessible, and
Yeah.
people just do it more often. But
Yeah.
anyways, that was before my mission. Then I went on my mission, came home, and I studied abroad in the Middle East for a semester. And that's where I think I really got the bug.
I think so. That's what I would say.
Living in Israel, Egypt, Jordan, man, those are cool places.
Yeah, and you wanted to. I
want to go everywhere
Yeah,
after that.
I'm guessing you're like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. I want to experience the world. I want to
Yeah.
see it all.
Yeah.
So yeah, you've kind of made that a priority.
Yeah, I remember when I went there just hearing the call to prayer and just the different. I remember the first night we got to the Jerusalem Center, after a long day of travel, we had dinner, and then I rallied some of the students with me to go down to the old city. We're right into the old city, walk through those old gates, those old walls.
know.
And it was like, wow, here we are in a whole different place. And it was so exciting. So cool.
Yeah.
The sights, the smells, the
The
people.
people, yeah. You love to be with the people.
Yeah, I love the people. And I remember that night, something that I'll never forget happened. I remember that there were 2 Orthodox Jewish boys. I'll say that they were between 15 and 20, maybe closer to 20 years old. And there was a Muslim kid who was walking through the quarter at that time. It may have even been Shabbat. I don't remember. And they were kind of hassling him, kind of heckling him. I couldn't understand the language, of course. And I didn't know exactly what was going on, but I could see that they were bugging this kid. And my heart kind of went out to him. I didn't know what was going on, though. And I remember that one of the Jewish kids' friends came up and kind of said, hey, guys, again, this is in my own interpretation. I don't know really what he said, but this is from facial expressions. And, hey, guys, back off and, be more nice, whatever. And they kind of stopped and they kind of started arguing a little bit, but kind of let the Muslim kid, again, when I say kid, he's like close to my age at that time, close to 20. I was 21. And I remember the relief on that Muslim's face. I remember the kindness showed and the courage, I guess, from that Orthodox Jew that kind of stepped in. And I recognized that although I was in such a foreign place where the call to prayer, the language, the money, the smells, everything was like different, I still recognized the sameness, the kindness. It looked the same in the old city of Jerusalem as it did on my mission in North Carolina or growing up in Spokane, Washington.
And I think that's something that we've learned to love
Yeah.
at traveling is
That's for
that
sure.
seeing the people everywhere and realizing, as you say a lot, that we're a lot more alike than we are different everywhere in the world.
Yeah.
I remember being in Tibet. Yeah, Tibet, I think, and learning about the religion, and the just feeling like I realized, oh my goodness, like everywhere in the world, no matter what religion, everyone is looking for something bigger than they are.
Yeah.
Like no matter what that is.
Was that in that Buddhist temple in Tibet?
Probably,
with the
yeah. Like
chanting
with
monks.
the chanting monks.
Yeah.
It was just so clear to me that, wow, everyone kind of has their own higher power or whatever you want to call it. But whatever that is, the reason for that is the same.
Yeah.
Everyone is looking for the, hope for something bigger than they are that gives them meaning,
Yeah, and these human needs, they kind of transcend. I think they transcend time, although this is our time, so maybe we don't know that for sure, but they definitely transcend culture and geography, ethnicity, religion, socioeconomic background. Yeah, I totally agree with you. I remember that beautiful temple in Tibet. Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah. So it's interesting. I mean, and that's one of the reasons we love to go other places.
Yeah, I think the best thing in my opinion, about traveling is learning. Yeah. Like, I like to travel because I like to learn.
Yeah.
And this is a hands-on learning experience kind of in every way.
And I think there's nothing like, I mean, you see places on TV. You look at things on the internet. You read about places. And that's amazing that we can do that.
Yeah. Google Earth. You can go to the Great Wall of China or whatever.
Super cool. But honestly, there's nothing like being there.
Yeah.
And really seeing, these places and the people, like you said, that's the coolest part is there's something that happens in your brain when you're physically there that's different than just seeing it.
So learning is what you kind of like best. What do you like most? Like the food, the culture, the history. I mean, like what part of the learning do you enjoy the most?
That's hard to answer because, it probably depends on where we are.
Yeah.
But I love seeing the people in action in their daily routines. I think that's super fascinating.
Yeah.
Because it's a little different everywhere you go, but again, it's similar.
You can see the similarities and how so families function.
Yeah, it's fun. It's funny. This kind of reminds me, we were in an airport somewhere. I don't remember, but it was recently. And it may have been in the United States, but it was not someone who spoke English.
Yeah.
And it was this little, like 1 or 2 year old baby, and they were not talking because they didn't know words, but making the exact same like noises and things that kids here in the United States do, but they did not speak English. And it was just funny to me. I just found myself mesmerized with this little baby because it was the same things, and that something like that is the same across the world is just fascinating to me.
Yeah.
You'd think it would be different.
It is interesting. Yeah. I think the people are fascinating. I think learning about histories is really interesting too, because you kind of see similar themes playing out. I remember when we went to Russia and I just remember these similar like themes that kind of happen all across the world. It's just interesting and different. All these countries go through similar periods of time and similar episodes of history. Obviously, all the players are different. The specific circumstances are different, but it's interesting to understand that arc of history from a high level, different countries.
Yeah, it is.
I agree, though. It's about the people. Do you remember going in that house in Peru?
Yes.
I've enjoyed when we've gone into people's houses in Italy and Peru and other places and got to hang out with them and spend time with them, eat with them, cook with them, talk to them.
Yeah, that's fun.
Do you like traveling alone, like the two of us, or like have you enjoyed it when we've taken our parents or we've gone with friends or the kids? How do you feel?
I like it all.
Yeah.
It does,
It's
makes
definitely
it a different
different, huh?
dynamic.
Yeah.
I think with just you and I, it's really fun because we can move, obviously we can move along faster in things or we can spend more time because sometimes, if we're with the kids, they don't want to spend more time, but we do, or, whatever. Anyway, but I think it's fun always, all different. They're just different.
Yeah, and it does make it quite a bit different. It's funny. I was at a board meeting with one of the entrepreneurs that I've recently invested in last week, and he has a newborn, and he wants to travel. He wants to do something. He feels like he needs a break, but he can't get away, or he feels like traveling with a newborn is more work than it's worth.
Yeah,
so traveling with kids can be hard,
It can be hard, but we, we traveled with our kids at all ages.
We did, yeah.
And I think, you just get a system.
Yeah.
It's at first it might seem intimidating, but it's really not. You just get a system and you go.
And do you like going far and wide or staying closer to home? Because there's different types of vacations.
I know.
I guess they're different as well.
They're different as well.
Like we went on during COVID. I remember we road tripped after the governor's race, and COVID was in full effect. We road tripped down all through Utah.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was fun.
That was really fun. Every weekend we go a different place.
We do hikes.
Yep.
We bring our baseball mitts, throw the
Our
baseball,
bikes.
our bikes, and you guys got chased by turkeys on your bikes.
Oh my goodness, we did. We got attacked
by wild
turkeys.
Yeah, and then later that summer we went up to Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. I grew up in Spokane, Washington, and learned to wakeboard and water ski on Coeur d'Alene. So we kind of drove up there and then drove all around and stayed on the lake, and that's fun.
That was fun.
And then it's fun to go far away.
Yeah. It's fun to go places that and you can just kind of, do what you love.
The traditions.
Yeah.
Like you know where to go to eat and what to do.
You know your favorite places.
Yeah.
You know your favorite activities.
One of our favorite places to go since we've been here, well, since we've had our family, I guess, is Eden, Utah, Powder Mountain. And so we have this series of pictures.
Yep.
There's this like ski
bench
that we always sit on like every year and take a picture. You can see like the progression of our family.
It's super cool.
In that picture, on the bench.
I love that. I want to get that, synchronized. Yeah, a little collage or something. That would be fun.
So those kind of traditions are fun because you can create those when you go to similar places and have the same things. And it's easier when it's closer to home. I also think it's usually easier to travel with kids when
Oh, definitely.
To come closer.
Yeah.
But hey, one of the best vacations we've ever had that our kids will never forget and we'll never forget was to Australia and New Zealand, which is not close.
No,
that's about
as far as you can get.
As far away as you can get. Do you remember that we, I don't know, we had those terrible coach, tickets to fly, whatever. We had bad seats flying over, but we got that bench thing.
Yes.
What was that? Like
they called it like a bed.
Bench or a bed that you put over the chairs.
Yeah.
And then you were supposed to just lay there with everyone.
But it was meant to be for two people. So you were supposed to buy all three seats. And this bed thing, but only have two people in it. Well, we were like, well, we're not doing that. That's a lot of money. So we're doing three people because we thought we had small enough kids to get away with three people
so cramped
and the bed.
That.
And that was the most uncomfortable thing. So we decided on the way home, I think, we said, we're not doing the bed.
Yeah, we just scrapped the bed. We just sat in the coach seats and enjoyed those.
It was
but on the way over, do you remember that? So getting there was really hard, but man, there was so awesome. Yeah. All the wildlife. I mean, New Zealand and Australia are so beautiful. We saw so many crocodiles.
Yeah, that was so cool. We went to a crocodile
farm.
Yeah, I think they called it a crocodile farm.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was cool.
We snorkeled the Great Barrier Reef, and we just all the wild koalas. And our kids were like in the perfect ages.
Yeah.
They were like 13 to 3, you know what I mean? And so they just loved the animals.
Yeah. That was a super cool trip.
Yeah, it's one of the best we'd ever done. And you planned almost all of that. That's the other thing. It takes a lot of planning to do like those international trips.
Tons of time, lots of research, lots of organizing. And
Yeah.
getting your schedule and all of that.
So number one, learning for sure for me, but number two, and I mean, it's the memories.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have this cadence at home. You have this feeling at home. It's awesome. We're at home now. It feels good to be at home. You have this routine that you'll never forget, and sometimes it's hard. The days kind of flow together.
They blend. Yeah.
The days, the weeks, it blends kind of together. That's not the case. I don't feel like when you're out exploring the world together, is it?
No, there are definitely things that we remember that we talk about all the time as a family, and that are fond memories of all of us.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about them till we can't talk about them anymore.
Till we are stricken of speech.
Until we're struck dumb.
Till we can speak no longer. But it's true, we do. And even you and I remember the first time we went to Europe as poor college students, we saved all that money. We went so cheaply. I remember eating one meal a day. Yeah. And it was usually like a baguette and Fanta. Yeah. Orange Fanta.
It wasn't like a meal. It was like...
Do you remember Andrea Bocelli, though, played under the Eiffel Tower when we were there?
I'll never, ever forget that.
And the moment his ended, like thunder cracked and lightning, and then it just started pouring and everyone started running.
Downpour,
do you remember that?
Yes, and it was the year 2000.
Yeah, that's why he was there.
The Eiffel Tower was all lit up. Yeah. It was so cool. Such a memory. Never, ever forget that.
I remember getting to some place in Venice a minute late.
Yes.
And I hopped the fence, and we're on opposite side of the fences for a second, and I'm like, come on, Sal.
Freaking out.
You were freaking out.
I was like, I am not jumping over this fence.
I'm like, get over here. I helped you get over, and we had fun. And we saw what we were supposed to see. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, it was like a clock tower or something.
Yeah, that had just closed. We had gotten there.
Like literally, they were closing the gate when we walked up.
Yeah. We snuck in.
Yeah.
Snuck into the
There were still a lot of people in there. Yeah. It wasn't like we were the only
But my point is, we remember these things. Yes. Like you remember those experiences and you don't forget them.
No. And you're changed by them.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the reasons you remember so much is that it impacted you.
You come back changed.
In some way, like the jumping over the fence thing. It made me realize that, okay, it's okay every once in a while.
It's so hard for you to say it. You can't even say it. It's hard for you to say it's okay to break the rules once in a while. Yeah. You can't even say it.
But it's
how are you gonna? I want to hear how you're gonna say this.
But every once in a while, it's okay. And that wasn't really. I mean, it was breaking the rules, but it wasn't like I said, they had just closed the gate. We saw them closing the gate, and there were a lot of people in there.
Yeah, still. I see it as just being proactive.
So
and making it happen.
Like if it were at midnight and no one was around and we jumped the fence, I'd be like, oh my gosh, this is not cool. But...
Oh my gosh, Sal, you got to get it. And this is we just spoke about skydiving. You just jumped out of a plane.
I know.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, anyway, let's move on. Let's not
talk that's about hilarious. Well, we've been thinking about travel, I think, for two reasons. Number one, obviously, a lot of the travel bans are being lifted. Yeah. It's time. Hopefully, COVID is leaving the earth and, at least the pandemic is slowing down, and we hope everyone's healthy and happy so you can get out there and explore more. Yeah. Go do it. We've all had a lot of staycation time, which is fun to explore. What's up with this phenomena, by the way, where you don't even see what's closest
isn't that
to you?
Funny?
We were in Africa or traveling somewhere recently, and talked to someone from Tanzania, and we're like, oh, we love Tanzania. Have you ever been to the Ngorongoro crater and the Serengeti? And he's like, no.
Yeah, it's like, no, I've never been there, but I want to go there someday.
I want to go there someday. And he wasn't in his own
backyard.
Yeah, and he wasn't in his own country at that time. It's not like he didn't travel. Yeah. He was traveling then. You take for granted what's in your backyard.
That is for
So
sure.
explore beautiful Utah, people. But we've done that a lot probably during COVID.
We did. We took advantage of that.
And I bet you a lot of people did.
Yeah.
So it's time to expand your horizons, maybe.
Yeah.
Get your wings and go out there.
State.
Yeah.
Over.
Go to Wyoming.
Hey, there's lots to see in Wyoming.
Nevada.
Yeah.
Go wherever.
Hey,
or
I'll tell you though.
Go far away.
Let me tell you this. One thing, we were talking about planes and how when we were younger we didn't go on airplanes. But I'll tell you, one of my favorite things was driving across the country.
Yeah, you and your family always drove.
We drove across the country. I remember there were 3 summers in a row that we drove from Utah all the way to the East Coast and back.
Oh, my.
3 summers in a row.
And did you like that?
I did like it.
Really?
I mean, here's why I liked it. Because we would stop along the way.
Yeah.
At anything. Like if we saw a sign that said, in Illinois, I remember driving through Illinois, we hadn't planned on stopping, but we saw the sign, birthplace of Abraham Lincoln, so we said, hey, let's go there. It was not necessarily on the way, but it wasn't super far out of the way,
Yeah. Springfield.
So anyway, Springfield. So we did things like that. And so that made it interesting and fun. And we saw things, we saw the country.
Yeah.
And that's cool. So that's
cool.
what I'm saying. Like, you don't have to, go somewhere exotic necessarily.
Yeah.
There's a lot to explore right around you, like you said, in your own backyard.
Yeah, and the travel bans are opening up, so go far away. And that's the second reason. We just got back from Dubai, which is a super cool place. We had never been there. We had 4 or 5 days at the beginning of November and said, where should we go? And we said, we go to St. George, close by.
Yeah.
We could. And then we said, where's the place in the world that we haven't been? Dubai, let's go.
We have wanted to go there for a long time.
And it was fun. It took a long time to get there, a long time to get back, but it was really fun to be on the ground there and to see that. It's a really interesting place.
It is a very interesting place. So many buildings.
Yeah, big buildings.
Huge, nice buildings.
Yes, the United Arab Emirates.
Crazy.
Bringing it. Great design, too. Good food.
Super cool.
Super fancy.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to feel like you have nothing, go to Dubai.
Yes.
Because there seems to be a lot of money flowing around all over the yachts and the buildings and the cars and the...
Yeah, the people like to be fancy, which is not our
it's not.
Piece of
Let me guess where that shirt's coming from. I see a hole in it, and I bet you it's from Old Navy. Am I right?
We're not fancy people.
Speak for yourself.
What do you mean?
I'm super fancy. I'm wearing a hat.
Yeah, you're wearing a jazz hat. You've stepped up your game today.
Congrats. All right, Sal, we have zigged, we have zagged. We love to travel. It's something we have always prioritized, even when we had nothing, and even when it was hard to go when we had young kids. But those are memories now that we'll have forever.
Yes, we will.
And we love taking our kids places too. Like we've said, they've been to 20 or so different countries, which is unbelievable at their ages. And they've had all these interesting... Remember Panama? Remember when we did a service project in Panama with our kids? I'll never forget James. How old was he then? Like
Let's
3?
See. 4 probably.
4 years old.
Maybe 3.
You had to take this little boat. This is called Bocas, Panama. So there's all these little islands. So you take a boat from like island to island, and the place we stayed was on one island. And I remember we had done a service project during the day. We're taking a boat back to our place, and it was getting dark, and so we're on the water, kind of bumpy with, a foreigner. And he grabs my face and he pulls me close and he's like, Daddy, were pirates or dinosaurs first in time? Like, did I think he said, were pirates or dinosaurs on the earth first? He was thinking, we were having this experience. That's so funny. Yeah. Pirates or dinosaurs. I said, I think dinosaurs, James. And we had a little talk about how that goes. But he was 4 and it was so precious and cute. So you never forget stuff like that, people.
No.
Get out there.
It's a memory.
Make it happen. Sally and I just jumped out of a plane in Dubai, and we'll never forget that.
Never, ever forget it. I'll never forget breaking the rules.
Oh my gosh. Sal can't even talk about breaking the rules. You guys all heard it here first that she did break a rule, but she can't even talk about it. That's so fun. I love you, Sal.
I love you too.
Good night.
Good night.
Please leave a rating and review for Under Our Bed at your favorite podcast platform. And don't forget to subscribe to the Extraordinary Us podcast with Jeff Burningham as well.
Hey guys, it's Jeff from the Extraordinary Us podcast. Thank you for listening to Under Our Bed. And a quick reminder to subscribe to Extraordinary Us. Also, tell your friends, leave a rating and review. We hope that this is uplifting. These stories inspire you and help you understand and realize that no matter our differences, we always have more in common. Let's build each other up with kindness and compassion. We got great guests coming up, including the governor of Utah, venture capitalists, all kinds of interesting people. Look forward to seeing you soon on the Extraordinary Us podcast.